I am amazed that I got this shot. I had no idea I was going to get this shot. This is something that I certainly didn't plan, but in the back of my mind, I guess I've always wanted to get a shot like this. This, boy, I tell you, this is like a once, not a once in a million. This is just an unlikely shot to get, and I'm so glad I was able to get this picture. This is the last in my series of sunset photos. This was not taken at the Boundary Waters. This was taken on my way back from the Boundary Waters. So anytime I travel on a road trip, especially if it's by myself, I bring my some sort of camera gear, often my Fuji X100f, and usually my 70-200 lens attached to some sort of DSLR. And that's what I did on this trip. I had no intention of bringing my D750 and my 70-200 f2.8 lens to the Boundary Waters. That makes no sense at all. It's going to get destroyed or wet or something in the canoe. But I thought I might have a chance to use it on the road. And I've gotten a lot of cool shots on the road, on road trips with that camera and lens combination. So I brought it, and it was in my bag the whole time. I never took it out, planned on using it at all. I just brought it in case I needed it. On the way back, this is the morning. It was a Wednesday morning. Was when we left the Boundary Waters. So we're at the Canada border. We drove back to the Twin Cities, unloaded all our gear, and I left the Twin Cities to go to Des Moines, Iowa, where I was staying the night in a hotel. And this was taken, I think, near Ames, Iowa. So it was on I-35 going south to Des Moines. I saw on the right-hand side of me as the sun was setting, I saw these beautiful clouds, the sun setting, and these windmills. And the reason I like, or wind turbines, okay. The reason that I like shots like this is it gives a sense of scale and perspective. If you've listened to Weekly 50 for any amount of time, you know that I'm a big fan of context and perspective. And that's what these help add, these turbines receding into the distance. We know how big a turbine is. So if you've seen one of these, you know how big they are. And it helps explain to your mind the grandeur of this scene. Almost like mountains in any photo help you understand how big the scenery is when you see mountains. Well, there's no mountains in Iowa, but we do have wind turbines. So I saw these wind turbines as I was driving the interstate, and I thought, I got to get a picture of these. You can't just stop in the interstate to get a picture, though. You have to pull off somewhere. I found an exit, pulled off, and ended up right off the interstate. There was a side road that went back north. So I took that side road for just a little bit, and it was able to block out, or there was some like farm equipment or some barns or silos. And by taking the side road just like a quarter mile north, all that stuff was gone. So it was just the wind turbines and the setting sun and these clouds. I get out of my car, take a few pictures, and you got to block out as much light as possible when you're shooting into the sun. So I stopped my lens down to f22, ISO 100. I didn't have an ND filter with me. And I took a few shots, and it was too bright. So I dialed in like a -3 EV exposure compensation, got a couple more shots, and it was working out okay. Then I dialed in a -5. So really underexposed. But when you're shooting in the sun, you have to underexpose because the sun is so bright. And I took a few shots, and it was working out pretty well. I scooted over a little bit, just walked like 10 paces in one direction. And I saw these turbines, and I saw the sun in from a slightly different angle, and put my camera up to my eye. I had it on motor drive, which is high speed shutter, because the position of the wind turbines, they were completely they're rotating the whole time. And so I've learned that if you're getting pictures like this, you never know which position you'll prefer when you look at the photos. So I just took a lot of pictures. So anyway, I'm lining up my shot. I got -5 EV on my exposure compensation. I start firing that shutter, and bam, this flock of birds just goes right in front of the frame. And it created this beautiful scene that I have never before been able to capture. There was exactly 2 shots with birds in them, this one and the next one. And I preferred this one over the next one because of the position of the birds. And I couldn't believe it. I didn't even know what had just happened. I remember kind of standing there as the sun was going down, kind of in stunned silence, thinking, there's no way I got a good shot of that. And it turns out I did. I can't tell you how gratifying it is to take this shot. the only thing I planned was I had my camera with me. I didn't know if I would get a sunset. I didn't know if there'd be turbines. I didn't know if there'd be clouds. And the clouds, I mean, picture this scene without the clouds. It wouldn't look as interesting. But the clouds add this cool element. They're all outlined and silhouetted. Everything is receding into the background, and then you got these birds flying over that add a sense of life and this dynamic element that's just missing without the birds. It was just it's an amazing shot to take. I was so glad I could get this picture. Hope you enjoy it. If you want to use it for a desktop background or something, please go right ahead. Click on the image, or if you're on YouTube, click on the link. Go to Flickr, download the high resolution version. I don't know. This is one of those shots that you think it'd be cool to get someday, but you never think you'd actually be able to do it. And then I got it, and I'm praise God. I mean, it's shots like this that help me see all over again the wonder and beauty of His creation.